This is Benig. In about 2 months or less, I am going to be doing my next Healing from Within intensive retreat here. I thought that I wanted to really talk about that today because the whole idea of being a wounded healer is something that has taken a while for us to grow into. Of course, the poetry of the mystics and the wisdom of that is there teaches us that to be human is to be flawed, and in fact it is within the weakness and the flaw that we find the potential for healing. Why? Because, and some years ago, of course, when I wrote Love in a Time of Broken Heart, I was talking about how heartbreak actually shatters us and allows something, divine grace perhaps you could call it, but allows a greater awareness and a greater vulnerability to come through. And there is great wisdom in weakness. There is great in that sort of weakness, in wounds. There is great wisdom in or great learning that can happen through our early wounding. And of course, in with my particular training and experience, I know that our soul patterns, our early imprints that come in through our parents during our time in the womb and at birth and shortly after birth have a huge impact on our relationships and on our later lives and how we live our later lives, because they create patterns. They are imprints that create patterns. Now, so our task then, when we go for healing or we engage in a process of healing, is to actually, it's a several pronged process. I think the first is an acceptance of and an awareness and acceptance of our wounding. And then a kind of, so a self-awareness, and then a kind of going into the wound, if you like, engaging with the process, engaging on an emotional level, as well as obviously, that the psyche does the work also for us, because there's great wisdom in our dreams and many other aspects of the psyche. The visualizations will tend to bring up um, uh, elements and imagery which we can work with later on. So this early wounding is in fact a conduit to our healing. And I think when we learn to accept that this greater vulnerability, that these cracks, if you like, I'm thinking of the work of Leonard Cohen when he says there is a crack in everything through which the light shines. There's the words of Tagore, the poet, who says, when I stand before thee at the day's end, thou shalt see my scars and know that I had my wound and also my healing. So that in essence, wholeness comes about through engaging with our wounds, engaging with our woundedness. But it's not something that is done intellectually. No amount of healing can happen purely on an intellectual level. We need to engage with the process of healing. So I invite you to, if you're interested, to download some of my podcasts and or radio programs. But also I have just completed an online Healing from Within course. You can download this also. Anybody obviously who's interested, do think about engaging in this, thinking about the whole process of healing in this way. So blessings, and I'll talk to you again soon.